how many of y'all know what Audible is? I got it on my dad. He listened to one book and he said, yeah, it's not my thing. And that's okay. You know, if you want to read it paperback. But I'm going to tell you, you can get a used copy of the 5 Love Language book for $4 plus shipping, right? And that's what it looks like right there. Gary Chapman. I don't care if you listen to it, get it on Audible and listen to it together or whatever else. Get it on Audible and each of you listen to it alone and then maybe come back and guess what I'm going to ask you to do. What should you do after each of you read the book and then you get together? You should what? Communicate about the book and what you liked or whatever else. Amy sat there and told me, this is so crazy, right? So there are like 5 different love languages, right? Amy sat there and told me, she goes, Jeff, I can't believe that you think that, you know, these are like the top 2. And I said, are you trying to tell me that they're not like the top 2? He goes, no. We've been married 28 or 9 years. And I've taught this class a gazillion times. And we've each read this book, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking that these 2 are number 1 and 2. And she said, no. Do you want to know which one? Anyone want to guess? Mom, which would you guess is the top one for Amy? Yes, for Amy. Now, I'm going to give you a hint. It's not quality time, and it's not words of affirmation. It is off the charts service. Jeff, when's the kitchen going to get done? We've been working on this for 3 years. Why are you over there at the church digging a well still? You know, why, you know, so communicate, because you may think you know and you may not know, right? This is probably the best thing in the world that I can do for you, help communicate to you. This book, or wherever the book is, the book disappeared. There's the book. Get the book, order the book. I'll buy you the book. I almost bought a bunch of books, and honestly, had we not been so busy this week, I would have probably had 5 copies and said, the first 5 couples get a free book. I'll give you the book, okay? I might have copies of the book next week. But get the book, read the book. Now, I do want to say something else. Brian, did you get it? Good. I'm so sorry that you all have to look at my very, very tan, bald head. I want to say something. In fact, I want to say a lot of things, and I don't want to get negative, okay? I don't want to get negative, but I'm like in a funk right now, and my goal is not to get real negative. Well, do you want to know what my number 1 is? Brian, I'm curious. You've known me just about as long as anybody. Which of these is my love language that I need? That I need spoken to me. Thank you, Brian. Words of affirmation are number 1, off the chart. I hate that about me. Why on earth do I need to have somebody sitting there and tell me that they're pleased with me? I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I don't know why. I hate it. I hate it. It makes me feel like I'm immature. But I hate it. I'm not alone. But I hate it. Number 1, I hate it. Amy knows. All right. Is it good or bad to fight with each other? You? Is it good? Is it good or bad to fight with each other? Is it good or bad to fight with each other? Mom, is it good or bad to fight with each other? Okay, I've changed my answer just a little bit. Fighting is good. Okay, thank you. Fighting is good just in the sense that it's better than no communication at all. There you go. All right? And the problem is people stink at communicating. They just do. They stink at communicating. And it's like that pressure cooker. Either the thing's going to blow up and get destroyed, or we're going to fight, and it's going to force us to communicate. Okay? Yes.
If you don't argue and you just be quiet, it's like a mold that's going to grow and grow and grow and grow.
I want good things for you guys. I want you to be able to communicate well with each other. If you don't communicate well with each other and you have to fight in order to communicate, then I would rather you fight than not communicate at all. Because if you don't communicate, if you do this stupid thing where it's like, I'm mad at you, and well, I'm mad at you too, and then you just leave and you walk away, and then when you come back, you act like nothing ever happened. The problem is it's only going to be 2 times worse the next time it shows up. It's going to be, because suddenly you're not just going to have the feelings of, I can't believe this is going on right now. You're going to have I can't believe the feelings, and I can't believe what's going on right now, and the way that I feel, and this has been going on forever, and you didn't take care of the ones before, and then suddenly, instead of a small little wave that pushes up against you, you have like a big old monsoon tidal wave that's crashing over you and then sucking you out to sea. Do you all get that? So if you need to fight, then fight. Learn how to fight well. I think if you learn how to fight well, then what will happen is you'll get more and more and more mature to the point where, you know what, we're not really fighting anymore. We're actually communicating. We're just not being nasty about it anymore. That's called good communication. Let's talk about this for a moment. I love the fact that you're grinning. I do.
I don't really like the word fight.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'd rather say argument.
Argue? Well, good. Because I'll tell you what, there is a level of it being a fight. And then there's a level where it's just an argument. And then there's a level where, you know what, it was heated. And then there's a level where it's, you know what, we had a bit of a confrontation. And then there's, well, we had to work through some hard issues. And then it's like, well, you know what, we're learning more and more about each other. And then there's you see what I'm saying? So there's a million different, I hate to use this analogy. You already know what I'm going, 50 Shades of Grey crap. But yes.
You said something that was really good.
Yeah.
And that was about making out a contract.
Guys, so did any of you all work on a contract yet? I'm curious. Did anybody do it yet? Okay, that's okay. All right, don't worry about it. But I'm telling you, you will get as much out of your marriage as you put into your marriage. You guys took a big step and you said, oh, my lands are going to come and they think that we're fighting all the time and our marriage is on the rocks if we show up and that sort of thing. So you took a big step for coming here. Kudos for you. All right, that's awesome. I don't know how you felt last week about it at the end of the week. I hope you walked away. I mean, you guys came back. So, I mean, that says a little bit of something right there. Was anybody, not like you're going to answer me, but did anyone have to be drugged back, kicking and screaming and fighting and stuff like that or anything? Mom, were you kicking and screaming saying, I'm not going back there or anything like that? Okay, good. I'm glad. But you came back. But you're going to get as much out of your marriage as you put into your marriage. And you're not going to like tonight. Tonight's the hard night, okay? Next week will be great. You'll love that. I didn't tell you this because, oh my lands, he's going to make us... I don't want to go if it's going to be hard or whatever, right? But tonight is going to be hard. I'm just going to tell you that right now. So get ready to have your feelings hurt and stepped on a little bit or whatever else. You'll get over it. We're all big kids, right, Elizabeth? We're all big kids, right? So yeah, Elizabeth's like, oh my land, he's going to like point, he's going to say something about me. I'm not. I'm going to say something about all of us. Guys, I am the beggar trying to show other beggars where to find food. That's all it is. What, you seriously think that Amy's and my marriage is perfect? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I really know people who have better marriages than Amy and my marriage. I'll be honest with you. But it is far from perfect. And we are still working through things. For crying out loud, I don't even know service. I mean, I knew that was important, but you're so pretty. That's not it. Let me buy you something. I don't want anything. Fix the kitchen. All right. I think we reviewed really, really well. What's the name of the book? 5 Love Languages. You're enough to Google it and you get it correct. 5 love languages. Do you remember the guy's name? Good girl. Good man. All right. You want to know the secret to a happy marriage?
Happy wife, happy life.
Well, I'm telling you what, yes. But you want to know what? That's only one side of it. Happy husband, whatever comes after that, right? I'm not that quick. I don't know if I ever was. There's your answer to the happy marriage. Guys, there are a couple of things that rub me so raw that I just can't see straight. I really want to be loving to people. I really want to try my best. But I'm going to tell you what, an arrogant person just kills me. Somebody who's always making it about themselves kills me. Kills me. I want to be patient. I want to be kind. I want to love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentle, and to have self-control and not allow my tongue just to... Antithesis. Am I right, Amy? Is that the opposite? Is that what antithesis means? I've been out in the sun a lot today. Y'all know people that are the antithesis of this. Does it just make your blood curl? Make your stomach kind of sick? It's like, I can't wait to leave. When can I, do you just want to run away? These are words for Christians. These are not words for husbands and wives to each other, though I could show you 50 passages in the Bible saying, husbands, love your wives like this. I could show you 50 passages in the Bible where it says, wives, love your husbands like this. But I'm just going to come right to the source. There you go. This is the thing that is, I think, so hard. That's just so challenging. And none of us like it. We don't like seeing this because we immediately recognize, oh, crud, I really fall short in this area. Amy's dad passed away. We knew that things were horribly serious for a month. I cannot tell you the thousands of times over the past month that I told people. In fact, if you were at the receiving line at the funeral during the visitation, you probably, odds are, very much perhaps heard me say, I knew that she was special. I knew that Amy was special. But then when I went home and I saw that her mom had zero concern about herself, her want, her need, her well-being, her desire, her pleasure, her whatever. And instead, it was about Bill, Amy, Karen, Clay, Jeff. And all of those people were just way up there before herself. And then when I saw and I looked at Bill, Mom, Dad, Bill, good guy, bad guy, or somewhere in between. Good guy. Good guy. A lot of you were there at the funeral. You heard the things that were said. I will be putting a thing online at some point that somebody wrote about Bill that crushed me like a tin can. And I was just like, oh, to have people view me that way. Oh, to have that kind of quality. Because it was never, ever, ever about tooting his own horn, getting the attention, whatever. And I'm sure it was that way, forgive me, in the bedroom or at dinner time, or it just never was. And so when I saw, Brian, I know I've told you this story a million times. So when I went up there and I saw Bill and Lorraine and I met them and everything else, I'm like, dude, this is the girl I need to marry. Because this is what has been displayed. This is, and do you think that my wife is that way? Do you think you've been on like 2 vacations with us now? You've known my wife. We've eaten the dinner together a gazillion times. Is my wife that way? Do you think my wife is that way? Do you think my wife is that way? She's that way. Mom, Dad, is my wife that way? Do you think that I am trying to become that way? I hate this crap inside of me. I hate it. If I could go to the doctor, I would say, don't worry about the hair on my head first. Get this crap outside of me. Get it out of me. This selfish crap. This garbage that is worse than any cancer, so that I can love people better than I do. I want it. I long for it. It's what I pray for. Oh, to be last. That's so Paul. This is Paul. It's just so Paul. I consider my life worth nothing, that I preach the word to other people. I run to the bottom of the barrel. It's not about me. It's, all this stuff. And it's so counter to the things of this world, isn't it? I mean, it's just like completely different than what we're taught in this world. We got social media. We have to elevate ourselves. Oh, we got this, all this stuff. I'm going to rent a car. I'm going to have them come and spray fake hair on my head. Not all the time, but I'm going to do that enough to cover that spot up. And I'm going to work out. I'm going to get my teeth whitening, little things up there and stuff. And I'm going to go. And if I'm not married, I'm going to rent me a date, and all of that stuff, so that we can just impress the living daylights out of people. I hate this stuff. It nauseates me to the absolute core. And I hate it when I see it in other people, and it kills me and it crushes me when I see it within myself. And you know what we end up doing? I mean, let's just be real candid, right? We do what the Bible says that we do. We look in the mirror and we see what we see, and we're like, oh my land, that's really ugly. And we turn away from it and we walk away and we forget what we look like, right? It doesn't help us when we forget what we look like. I mean, if I have a note, I had to make 2 horrible phone calls today. You ask Amy about the last 24 hours. Do you know that we still do not have our permits right now? And I had to call some people and almost say, we're about ready to hire lawyers. We're about ready to lawyer up. And how do you call somebody very nicely in a Christ-like way? And I sit there and I told a couple of people, I called some people, I said, you need to pray for me right now, because in 30 minutes I'm making some phone calls and I don't need Jeff to show up. I need Christ to overpower Jeff, get Jeff out of the room, and I need to talk Jesus. And so after 30 minutes and after calling some people and saying that, I called the people, and Amy listened. And when I was done, I looked at Amy. I said, Amy, how did I do? Wow, you should call people and have them pray for you more often. And then I ended up having to make it the second of the phone calls, and I did the same thing. And this one, this was where the problem really lied, where the problem really was. And I ended up praying, and I sat there, and I think I even had something in my hand for a good little while to remind me. Just like not saying and stuff like that. When I was a child, I would say and stuff like that, and I sounded like a fool and an idiot, because every time I would close a phrase, I would say and stuff like that. And every now and again, it still crawls up, especially when I talk about how I used to do that and whatever. Then, in my sermons, you'll hear and stuff like that. And so I had to keep that in my head. Don't say stuff like that. And I had to remember, don't be a butthole. Excuse me, but let's just be real candid. Don't be a butt, And I made that second conversation. Amy, did I do well? I asked her. She said, wow, you did good, Jeff. Did good. Did good. 24/7. That's what I want. Why is this so hard? Right? So let's just look at this. Selfish ambition. What am I going to get out of it? Me, 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 me. That's why the people, when they practice, they get ready to go up in front of a whole stage of people and they start singing, they have to warm up going, me, 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 because they're thinking, pretty soon everyone's going to be looking at me, 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 me. Oh, my lands, Mom. Oh, my lands, Mom. Oh. Don't do anything out of selfish ambition, out of vain conceit. Everywhere. No, everywhere. Yeah, maybe more on the internet. No, everywhere. We don't even know. We don't like looking in the mirror. And so as soon as we see a little bit of that in the mirror, we're like, oh gosh, no. Oh, look, there it is. Oh, my lands. And do you not think that I do that? Do you not think that I do that? Can't believe that person's driving 45 miles per hour. You know what? I sit there and I had 45 minutes to go home and take a shower, stuff some spaghetti down my throat, and get back here. The guy's going 45 miles per hour in the 50 zone, and I'm just like, what are you doing? And it's rush hour. And it's all I can do. And I'm just like, idiot. And here I am going 75 miles per hour down to 55 miles per hour zone to get here. Which is worse? It's easy to see it in other people. We refuse to see it in ourselves. Let me fix you. Okay. All right. You fix me. Let me show you the proper way. You see what I'm saying? These are these things right here. Do nothing out of selfish ambition. Let me show you how great I am, and I will fix things and everything else. And then you can turn around and say, wow, you are magnificent, O fixer of everything else. Humility. Consider others better. Let's just go ahead and instead of better, let's just say smarter. What? You're smarter? Better ideas, the better way to do it. Let's just consider other people better, smarter. That's what love is. Brian, just beat it out of me when you see it. When it shows up, just say, Jeff, you're my brother, right? you have given me permission. I know that there's a big old 4x8 sticking out of my eye, but brother, God has something better for you than what you're doing right now. You know what we talked about the other day? Hey, Jeff, I want you to do X, Y, and Z for me. There you go. What? I'm just a fool and an idiot. What do I know? But that right there, there's the ticket. And I'll tell you what, you come and you kick my butt. And if you really mean it, I'll turn and I'll kick your butt. Okay? And our marriages will get better, and we'll learn to love people better, and everything else. You know, I'm so sick and tired of people saying, you know what, we need to go around and point out, that's what's wrong with America today. That's what's wrong in America today. That's what's wrong in America today. And instead, what we need to do is to go to those people that are doing wrong in America today and just love the daylights out of them and do this. If you do this, if this was the relationship that we had with those who are lost, you don't think this place would be absolutely filled to capacity? But we don't. We look at them and they say, oh my lands, I can't believe that you danced at the nudie bar. Oh my lands, I can't believe that you sold drugs. I can't believe that you spent the time in jail. Oh, I can't believe this and everything else. And we just look down our snotty little nose at people and we judge the living daylights out of them. Where do you see that? It doesn't say that at all. They're better than us. That's the way that we should look at it. Brian, do I do that? I don't do that. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. Can I like replicate and do those times more and then get rid of? That's what we want. That's when life gets good. That's when our relationships get good. We can't even do this in our marriages and in our families. How are we going to do it out there if we're not doing this in our friendships, in our marriages, in our family? Right? Told you it was going to be hard. Are you sweating? You know, or are you mad that you came today? You wouldn't tell me if you you wouldn't tell me if you were. I'm almost done, by the way. I don't even know what time it is. What time is it? Just out of curiosity. What is it? Wow, see, we might get done 25 minutes early. Wouldn't that be a hoot? Hey, you guys could come and help us bury up a bunch of lines and stuff and dig out some other lines if you want. Let's just keep going here. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility consider other people better, smarter, and more intelligent, and just a whole lot more cool than you. Each of you should look not only at your own interests, but also to the interests of others. Your attitude should be the same as Christ Jesus, who being the very nature of God, did not consider equality with God something to be grasped, but he made himself nothing, taking the very nature of a what? For crying out loud, people, just serve. Just serve each other. The bottom line is this. Amy so often puts my needs above her own. Now, if that's happening, that means my needs are being met, right? And here's the other thing. If I would get my head out of my rear end and did this more often, then I would put Amy's needs above my own needs. And then suddenly, but here's the cool thing, and this is what you miss. This is what we often miss. So my needs are being met. Her needs are being met, and she's like, you are so awesome. You're so special. I can't believe, I just love you so much. And I'm doing the same, and instead of, we're crying out loud, well, why don't you don't even, right? So it's the goal. Now, who does that? Well, Christ did that. And last I read, Christ is in the business of transforming lives, right? So these are realities. So I get it. I'm not that way. And I suspect Amy's not that way all the time. I don't really ever recognize that, but I'm sure, maybe Amy's not that way with other people. I mean, I am her husband after all, right? So, I mean, she's like, oh, but Jeff, no, I'm just kidding, right? I'm just kidding. And it's not just with our relationships with our spouses. What about the relationships with our kids? Matthew comes home from school. What does that then look like? Bethany comes over from working a hard week at her church. What does that look like? Ken, almost said Goss, isn't that funny? There's a blast from the past. Ken Odell comes over. He's here probably at 9 o'clock. He left the exact same time I did. How do I treat him? What does that relationship look like? All of these different kinds of different things, right? We become the servant. Ken came and served. He even brought a buddy that he pays to help him on his little ranch and stuff. He's got like 4 or 5 people that are older, probably aren't the hardest, quickest, fastest workers in the world. And yet he pays them to help do things around his property and stuff like that. I think that's just absolutely amazing and awesome and everything. And I'm pretty sure he was paying this guy today to come and wouldn't take a dime or anything, whatever. And worked his keister off today. And it was like really sunny. He was like the servant. One last thing and we'll be done. People misinterpret. I can't put it on the screen for you. You'll find it. I can't even tell you where it's found. It's in John. Well, you know what? Now I'm even second. It's not in John. It's in Matthew. But anyway, it doesn't matter. You can Google it. You'll find it. And you all know the story anyway. Jesus goes to Mary and Martha's house. This is early on. This isn't when they're getting ready to heal their brother Lazarus from the dead. This is much, much, much earlier than that. When they go there and the sisters are like, oh my land, Jesus is coming. Jesus is coming. Oh, we got to get everything perfect. When have we ever had the Messiah come at our house? Right? And they wanted to what? Serve Jesus. So Jesus comes and everything else. And do you remember the story? What happened, Brian, in the story? So you have Mary and Martha, and you have Martha who's like trying to make sure the biscuits aren't getting burnt and the gravy doesn't get too thick, and no sausage or bacon, but whatever they put in there, and yeah, all of this sort of stuff. And what's Mary doing? Sitting at Jesus' feet. And what did Jesus say in response to that? Mary chose what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. You're upset about all kinds of things, Martha, but there's only one thing that's needed. And she chose what's better. We don't understand that. Let me ask you this. Is Jesus sitting in the stool up there? Not figuratively. Somebody would argue, oh, but Jesus is everywhere. Okay, let's not go in that direction, okay? Jesus is, I tell you what, Jesus was there for a time and a period, 2 years, 8 months, 9 months, something along that, just shy of 3 years, right? And Jesus was there. And the thing of it is, he was going to be taken away from them. And so it was good for Mary to sit at Jesus' feet. The thing of it is we can learn about Jesus. We take time to learn about Jesus. We take time to worship or whatever else. But some people just sit there and they say all the time, I need to go and learn about Jesus and read about Jesus. In fact, I'm going to go down to, what's the St. Meinrad's? Am I saying that right? St. Meinrad's down there near the caves, down there kind of by Louisville. What is that place? St. Meinrad? You know, we went there in seminary. We went there and spent 3 days hanging out with the monks. They do two things. They sit quietly and pray and read the Bible, and then they go to the bar and drink. Those are the two things that they do. Nothing else. They don't watch TV. They don't do anything else. That's what they do. And we can sit there and say, oh, well, isn't that absolutely wonderful and everything else? You know what? I think it's really great that they can do that or whatever else. But Samuel Schumacher, who was Samuel Schumacher? A cookie for anyone who can tell me who Samuel Schumacher is. Anybody? Going once? Going twice? Amy, who is Samuel Schumacher? Say again? Nope, he's not a Mormon. He's the Alcoholics Anonymous guy. Samuel Schumacher was the Alcoholics Anonymous guy. He wrote the book, and he wrote, I think more importantly, the poem, I Stand by the Door. Samuel Schumacher, I Stand by the Door. He says, you know, some people, you know, I stand by the door. I'm standing by the door, and I'm walking around the door, and I'm looking for people that are outside of the door, blind, without groping hands, banging themselves, you know, crazy, running into stuff because they're absolutely blind. And I try to say, over here, the handle's over here, and stuff like that. Thus, I stand by the door. Go on in, you saints. You know, somebody has to go in and explore those vast areas of God's kingdom and everything else and celebrate and whatever else, but that's not my place. And the truth is, sometimes I wish you people would like get over yourselves and come out here and help me get some of these people to walk through the door. I can't put their hand on the latch, but I can sit there and I can tell them that latch is only going to open to their hand, to their touch. It only opens when they want to reach out and grab it. And so I stand at the door. Google it. It's a beautiful poem. It's a beautiful poem. Samuel Schumacher, I stand by the door. Samuel Schumacher did not think himself any better than the people that he was helping. If you know Samuel Schumacher, Alcoholics Anonymous, the billions of books and the things that he wrote and everything else, one of the main reasons why he was so effective was because he wasn't selfish. He wasn't about going deep into these vast places. He was about helping people, you know, find Christ. He didn't view himself any better, whatever. He didn't say one beggar trying to show other beggars where to find food. All of that stuff. Y'all with me, right? Y'all know what I'm saying, right? Good. Brian, guess what you get to do? You get to pray. Before you pray, what questions do you have? Let me ask you this. Look at those verses. Do you think that if those verses were applied in your life, if you could master that, do you think your marriages would be outstanding 5 times more than what they are right now? Is there anyone here that doubts that? Do you think that the church would be effective today if these things were in place in the life of the church today? Would we be effective in winning the lost? Does anybody doubt that today? If we did this with our children, I'm sorry, but if our children saw this, you know what? They care more about me. I'm not talking about, okay, well, we'll get you the Happy. No, I'm not talking about the Happy Meal. I'm not talking about the Happy Meal. I'm talking about instead of sitting there in front of the TV watching the ball game or Everybody Loves Raymond or what's the show that I like to watch now, Amy? Young Sheldon, you know, or whatever else. I'm on my knees praying for my kids who's at Purdue right now with a whole mess of beautiful little freshman girls running around because they're there and the rest of the student body hasn't shown up yet. And it's like, Lord, keep him safe. And I'm doing that. Do you not think that life would be a whole lot better? Any other comments? Any other questions? Any other pushback? Nope. Brian, you get to pray and close us out. Hey, listen, before he prays, Next week won't be nearly this horrible, okay? I'm sorry. I'm stepping on my own toes. Y'all know this, right? I've not figured this out. It's my goal. It's what I want. It's what I desire. But it's not, you think I've arrived here at this yet? I'm not. But I tell you what, I've tasted that it's good, and I want more of it. All right, Brian.
That's all I got, Lord. Just thank you for Jesus. Thank you for the example you set for us. The reason why you gave us marriage is to be an example of how our relationship with you is. That you gave yourself to us first. So please let us be able to take these words and apply it to our life, apply it to our life. And we're not perfect. Let us strive to be better than we are. Be with the people at home that are listening. Help them understand the words that we're talking about today. Lord, just keep us safe. Bring us back on Sunday to worship.
Amen. Thank you. You guys are great. Sorry that I'm grumpy. At some point, I'll get over it. Okay. All right. All right. God bless you guys. One more week of this. It'll be a good one, okay? It'll be more like last week. All right.